Well, we're going to be talking about beauty pageants.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, specifically Miss Universe.
Okay.
We've got some excerpts from a CNN article about the 2024 competition.
The 2024 one.
And it's pretty interesting stuff. It's not just about who won, although we'll definitely talk about that.
Right.
But it's more about how the competition itself is changing. It's almost like it's trying to keep up with the times. And I'm really curious to get your take on it all, especially as someone who follows pageants pretty closely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fascinating to see how things have evolved.
So let's start with the basics. The crown went to Victoria Kjær Theilvig of Denmark.
Denmark, wow, that's...
A historic win. Denmark's never had a Miss Universe before.
That's right.
And she's not just a pretty face either.
Oh.
Theilvig is a competitive dancer, an entrepreneur, and get this, she's even studying to be a lawyer.
Wow. A triple threat.
It really makes you wonder if the whole idea of a beauty queen is changing.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting shift. It seems like the modern Miss Universe needs to be more well-rounded.
More than just a pretty face.
Exactly. They need to be driven, accomplished, and ready to tackle serious issues.
It's a far cry from the stereotype, right?
Absolutely. Historically, the competition was really focused on world peace and promoting international understanding, but now it's more about empowering women.
Giving them a platform.
Exactly. Giving them a voice on social issues.
You know, the article actually mentions that the final 5 contestants were asked about leadership and resilience.
That's a far cry from the typical world peace questions.
Right. Not your typical pageant questions.
Yeah.
And Theilvig's answer really stood out to me. She talked about living without judgment and encouraging viewers to fight for change.
That's interesting.
What I found really interesting is how the article connects this to the rule changes this year.
Oh, yeah. The rule changes were huge this year.
Huge. For the first time, women over 28, mothers, and even married women were allowed to compete.
It was a long time coming.
It's like they're trying to redefine what it means to be a beauty queen in the 21st century.
Yeah, it really does feel like a turning point.
Do you think these changes are a genuine attempt at being more inclusive? Or is it more of a PR move to stay relevant?
Well, the article does mention that the age limit removal came amid growing calls for the pageant to modernize.
Right.
So it's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
But it definitely reflects a broader shift in how we view women and their roles in society.
Absolutely.
It's no longer enough to just be beautiful. Contestants need to have something to say.
And the courage to say it.
Exactly.
It makes me think about Theilvig's platform. The way contestants use their platform has always been a big part of the pageant.
Oh, absolutely.
But it seems like the focus has shifted.
It has.
Have you noticed a difference in how contestants are using their platforms?
Absolutely. In the past, it was often very generic, promoting goodwill and world peace.
Yeah.
But now it's much more specific.
More action-oriented.
Exactly. Contestants are expected to be passionate about particular social issues.
And use their platform to advocate for change.
Right.
So, speaking of social issues, the article mentions Theilvig's message about fighting for change. What kind of change do you think she's referring to?
It's not explicitly stated in the article, but based on her answers and her overall message, it seems like she's advocating for a more inclusive and equitable world.
It'll be interesting to see how she uses her platform as Miss Universe to actually champion those ideas.
Definitely.
But, while the article focuses on all the positive changes, it also mentions some controversies surrounding national-level contests.
Oh, right.
Specifically in South Africa and Nicaragua.
Yeah, those are unfortunate situations.
And it kind of clashes with this whole message of empowerment, doesn't it? Do you think it exposes some hypocrisy within the pageant? Or are these just isolated incidents?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it definitely adds another layer to this whole narrative of progress we've been talking about.
Right.
I mean, these controversies highlight the challenges of operating a global competition.
With so many different cultures and perspectives.
Exactly. Where cultural norms and political realities can sometimes clash with the ideals of the competition.
So in South Africa, contestant Chidima Adichie's nationality was questioned.
Right. I remember that.
Which sparked all these xenophobic attacks.
It was awful.
It was awful. She ended up leading the South African competition and representing Nigeria instead.
Wow.
And then in Nicaragua, there was a whole scandal involving the director of their national contest.
Oh, yeah.
Being accused of plotting to overthrow the government.
It's a lot to unpack.
It's a lot.
While the Miss Universe organization is striving for positive change, these incidents remind us that it's still embedded in a world with deeply entrenched social and political problems.
It's almost like we're seeing two sides of the coin here.
Yeah.
These inspiring stories of women breaking barriers. And then this stark reality that the pageant still operates within a really complex and imperfect world.
Absolutely.
It definitely makes you think about the bigger picture.
It does.
What are your thoughts on all of this so far?
It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
On one hand, you have these incredible stories of women defying traditional expectations, using their voices to advocate for change.
Right.
But then on the other hand, you have these controversies that expose the limits of progress.
The limits of progress.
Yeah, and the enduring power of prejudice and political maneuvering.
That's a good way to put it.
It's a reminder that change is rarely straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the best intentions, there will be setbacks and challenges along the way.
So it sounds like we're seeing a competition in transition.
Definitely in transition.
Grappling with its own legacy while trying to embrace a more inclusive and empowered future.
I think that's a great way to sum it up.
It's a lot to consider, and we're just getting started. Stay tuned, deep divers, because we'll be back after a quick break to dive even deeper into the changes and challenges facing the world of Miss Universe.
It's amazing how these controversies really highlight the global reach of Miss Universe.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the competition draws contestants from all over the world.
Yeah, from all walks of life.
Each with their own unique backgrounds and experiences.
It's true. The article actually points out how several countries participated for the first time this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, places like Cuba, Belarus,
Wow.
Eritrea, and even the United Arab Emirates.
It's pretty incredible.
It's amazing to see such a diverse group of women all coming together on one stage.
It really speaks to the universality of pageantry, doesn't it?
Yeah, like this desire to celebrate beauty, talent, and ambition.
Exactly. Even with all the cultural differences.
Right.
There's something about Miss Universe that transcends borders.
It's like a microcosm of globalization almost.
It really is.
When you think about how countries with very different social norms and attitudes towards beauty pageants, they all come together for this one event.
It is fascinating to see how all these different perspectives kind of intersect.
Yeah.
Some cultures might embrace pageants wholeheartedly,
Sure.
while others might view them with more skepticism.
More skepticism or even opposition.
Yeah, exactly. Like even Saudi Arabia.
Right.
They were rumored to be participating this year, but the Miss Universe organization denied those reports.
They did. Yeah, I remember reading about that.
It makes you wonder about the challenges the organization faces.
Definitely trying to navigate all these differing viewpoints.
Yeah, walking that tightrope between promoting their message of empowerment
Right.
while also respecting cultural sensitivities.
It's a tough balance.
Absolutely. And even within a single country, there can be conflicting perspectives, too.
Like in South Africa and Nicaragua.
Exactly. Those controversies demonstrate how social and political dynamics can create friction.
Even within the seemingly glamorous world of beauty pageants.
Right, even in that world.
Yeah, it's not immune to these issues.
Yeah.
I was really struck by how the article highlighted the xenophobia directed toward Chidima Adetshina in South Africa.
It's a sad reminder that prejudice and discrimination can exist anywhere.
Yeah, even in spaces that are supposed to be about celebrating diversity.
Exactly. And then the situation in Nicaragua,
Oh, yeah.
with the contest director being accused of being involved in a coup attempt,
A coup attempt.
it just adds another layer of complexity to the whole thing.
It's almost as if the Miss Universe competition can't escape the political realities of the countries it operates in.
That's right. It's intertwined with all of it.
It really makes you think back to what we were discussing earlier about the rule changes. While it's great that they're trying to be more inclusive,
Yeah.
these incidents make you wonder if those changes are enough to address the deeper issues at play.
It's a valid point. The rule changes are a step in the right direction. But they can't erase the systemic inequalities and cultural biases that still exist.
In many parts of the world.
In so many parts of the world.
Yeah. It's going to take a much broader effort to really achieve a level playing field for all women.
Absolutely. It's not a quick fix.
So that brings us back to the idea of the contestants' platform.
Yes, their platform.
Do you think the platform can be a powerful tool for addressing these issues?
I think it has the potential to be very powerful.
Powerful.
If contestants use their platform to speak out against injustice, to challenge harmful stereotypes,
Yeah.
to promote understanding and empathy, they can really contribute to a more positive and equitable world.
But it can't just be about empty words, right?
No, it can't.
There needs to be real action and commitment behind those words.
Absolutely. Otherwise, it risks feeling like a PR stunt.
Exactly. So it seems like we're seeing a real shift in the pageant world.
We are.
But it's not without its growing pains.
Definitely not.
It's a work in progress. And it'll be interesting to see how the Miss Universe competition continues to grapple with these complexities in the years to come.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating journey to follow.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see what the future holds.
Speaking of the future, the article really only focuses on this year's competition.
Yeah, just this year.
It makes you wonder what Miss Universe will look like in another 10, 20, even 50 years.
Right. What will it look like?
Do you think it will continue to adapt and evolve, or will it eventually become a relic of the past?
That's a tough question to answer.
Yeah.
I think the pageant's ability to adapt and stay relevant really depends on its willingness to embrace change.
Embrace change.
Yeah, to challenge the status quo,
Mm-hmm.
to continue pushing the boundaries of what it means to be a beauty queen in the 21st century.
I'm curious to hear what you think about the concept of beauty itself.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, it seems like the standards of beauty are constantly changing.
They are.
What was considered beautiful a few decades ago might not be seen as such today.
You're absolutely right.
So how do we even define beauty in this day and age?
It's a moving target, isn't it? Beauty standards are constantly in flux.
They're constantly in flux.
Influenced by cultural trends, social movements, technological advancements.
All of it.
And it's fascinating to see how the Miss Universe competition reflects and shapes those changing perceptions.
It's like a feedback loop almost.
It is a feedback loop.
The pageant is influenced by society's views on beauty.
Right.
But it also has the power to influence those views in turn.
Exactly.
It's a very complex interplay.
It really is. And it's not just about physical appearance anymore.
Right.
The definition of beauty is expanding.
Expanding to what?
To encompass qualities like intelligence, strength, resilience.
When I think back to how I used to view beauty pageants,
Yeah.
I had a lot of preconceived notions.
Like a lot of people.
I thought it was all about superficiality
Yeah.
and outdated ideas of femininity.
But your perspective has shifted.
It has after diving deep into this topic.
Yeah.
I still have some reservations, of course,
Yeah.
but I'm seeing the potential for these competitions to be a force for good.
I think that's a common experience.
Yeah.
Pageants have a long and complicated history.
They do.
But it's important to approach them with an open mind.
An open mind.
Recognize that they're evolving, and who knows, maybe someday they'll fully embrace their potential.
Their potential to be a platform for empowerment and positive change.
Exactly.
Well said. Well, deep divers, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of Miss Universe.
It's been quite a journey.
It has been a fascinating journey, full of twists and turns, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have.
I know I have.
But before we sign off,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one final thought. What do you think the future holds for Miss Universe?
What do you think?
Will it continue to evolve and embrace change? Or will it eventually fade away? What does this competition tell us about our own perceptions of beauty and success? Keep those thoughts churning, deep divers. And until next time, stay curious.